your baby blues, so full of wonder, your curly cues, your contagious smile. And as I watch you start to grow up, all I can do is hold you tight, knowing clouds will rage and storms will race in, but you will be safe in my arms. Rains will pour down, waves will crash around, but you will.
Hi, my name is Adonis Ortiz,
Hi, my name is Ortiz.
and we're the parents of Adonis Ortiz. And our mother, Elvira Quinones, she's actually recording, and she's the grandmother of Adonis as well. The reason for our video is because we need help making a healthier and safer environment for our son. An overview of his health and everything is he was born with gastroschisis 12/7/10. That's his birthday. And gastroschisis, what it is the intestines on the outside of the abdomen. 5 days after he was born, they ended up finding out that he has a syndrome called short bowel syndrome. Short bowel syndrome is when the intestines are too short and they're not the accurate length as a normal child. The intestines on the outside of his abdomen were actually dead. The inside intestines had never developed because they didn't have enough blood flow. After that, they ended up putting a Broviac line, which is an IV line, into his chest. And unfortunately, after a little while, it started getting multiple infections, and they ended up getting it removed. We did come to Miami. Since we are from Tampa, Florida, we came to Miami on January of 2011 for a transplant evaluation, and that's when they told us that Adonis qualified for a step procedure. A step procedure, what it is a lengthening of the bowel, making the intestines longer than what they are. At that time, he had 64 centimeters of intestines, so his intestines started to grow on their own. But unfortunately, they were only able to extend it to 100 centimeters, which should be enough for a child to function properly, but with Adonis, that wasn't the case. He was able to eat until he got to like 6 months old, and then they stopped his food, nothing by mouth, nothing through his G-tube. And after that, he never wanted to eat again. So till this day, Adonis doesn't eat by mouth. Also, another thing with him is he's actually had a Broviac line since he was born. Adonis has been in the hospital almost his entire life. He's barely been home. The only time, I think maybe in total, he's only been home about 9 months since he was born. And that means a lot because he's going to be 3 now in December. He's been between St. Joseph Hospital in Tampa and here at Jackson Memorial in Miami. He had another step procedure in May of this year, 2013. And when the surgeons went in to do the step procedure, they noticed that his intestines were paper thin. They had to do incision after incision, stitches after stitches to make sure that his intestines were not open. Because they noticed that once they started doing the stitching, they did the one and it opened again. Because his intestines were just so paper thin and just not functioning whatsoever. After that, they gave us the news that he was going to be needing a multi-visceral transplant. Multi-visceral transplant is a transplant of the intestines, stomach, pancreas, and liver, which he actually got now on December 28th, which was Monday. And as you can see, his openings for his transplant are very large. They go all the way from the top of his chest all the way to the bottom of his groin, and they go completely across his abdomen almost towards his back. What he has up here is his Broviac line, which he's had since June now. This is his 8th Broviac line placed. What he has down here is the drainage for the surgery, and what he has up here is the closing for his G-tube, because he had a G-tube there, and now they finally were able to close it up, praying that it will work. He has a PICC line here in his arm. The reason for the PICC line is to make sure that he gets enough nutrients now that he's had the transplant, and because a lot of his medications aren't compatible. Up here he has his oxygen. Also, he has a Repobal tube taking out the rest of the stuff coming out of his stomach, which is up there at the top. And he has a GJ tube that's going into his nose and into his stomach, so that way we can do the feeds till he learns how to eat. Adonis is a extremely happy baby. He will make you laugh. He will make you just like the happiest person. You can be having the worst day, and he just lights you up with energy and just so much joy. And it's really hard seeing a baby that is just so happy and so full of life have to go through so much. And you know, even you see him here and he's usually always laughing, and he starts mimicking Cookie Monster. Yeah, he actually likes to play baseball. We put the tee on, and he has his own little baseball bat, and he hits the ball, and he has his own little glove, and he catches the ball really well. We always say he's going to be like the next Yankee player. And he's just such a great baby. And everyone that meets him, you know, they fall in love with him instantly. He's just awesome. He's a really big blessing to our family, even though he has gone through a lot. And that's the reason why we have to do this video. Our home at the moment has a lot of issues that we have to address before he gets home from his transplant. Our kitchen has mold because a pipe busted, and it then ended up going into the cabinets, and it went in the cabinets and started creating mold, and we just don't have the money to be able to fix it. The middle bathroom also has mold in the tub. The tub has to be removed because the people that did the house just painted over it, and that's very, very toxic and harmful for the baby. He's never been able to take a bath, and now finally they told us after he recuperates, he will be. And I was like, I don't want to put my baby into a bathtub that is full of toxic paint and, you know, things that can harm him, especially since we've gone so long, you know, waiting for this moment for him to get the transplant and for him to be okay.
Almost 3 years.
You know, now, and the other thing we have is his room it's full of carpet. The carpets are horrible. We need to either get like tile or wood floors so that we can constantly be cleaning and mopping and making sure that his room is as sterile as possible for him. Because with the transplant, he's on immunosuppressants. That means it brings down his immune system. He can catch any illness there is now. And, you know, before we were always worried about him getting sick because he would get sick really quick. But now it's like 10 times worse. So we want to be able to make our home, you know, livable for our child. We want to make sure that it's sanitary, that, you know, that it's healthy for him, because that's where he spends most of his time. I'm at home with him 24/7. He barely ever gets to leave. And, you know, it's very difficult knowing all of the issues that we have in our home, especially with a child the way we have him. You know, he's gone through so much already, and we're trying to fix these issues, but I keep on getting laid off from my job, and, you know, it's not easy the way everything's been lining up. We also have issues with our ducts. They're actually leaking in like a whole bunch of areas. So Adonis doesn't get any AC to his room. All he has is a fan that rotates. And we need to make sure that his room is cold because the bacteria, it gets fought off by the cold temperatures. And the other thing we have is issues with the electricity. The electricity lines in our ceiling or in the roof, they are completely horrible. So that's like another thing that we have to get adjusted. So that's the reason why we're doing this video, so we can be able to get these things fixed, so we can, you know, have a safe home for our son. So we can make sure that when he gets home, he has clean air to breathe. You know, he has a healthy room, you know, a healthy, sterile, clean room that he can be in and play in, and we don't have to worry about all the dust coming out from the carpets or getting into his lungs, because he also has asthma on top of everything else. And it's been very difficult trying to go through this situation and trying to make sure that our baby will be okay at the end of the day. So we ask you, please, if there's any way that you can help us, whether it's, you know, monetary wise, whether it's just donation on the materials to fix the home, anything will help. And honestly, anything. It doesn't matter what it is. Trust me, we're not doing this video just to get money. We're really getting it just to fix our home and to make sure that it's a safe and healthy place for our son to grow up in. And we thank you very much. And I know once he's awake, he would say thank you too. And that's pretty much all we have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Your baby blues so full